Somewhere during the dawn of time, there was man, and even in those extremely early days, as they banded together, they needed someone to guide them. The designated leader was usually chosen from those whose brawn prevailed, although not always the most resourceful, over those who chose to use their brains, what little they had, of course. He would lead with an iron fist, and in screaming tones that his group do as he say. He would get the most of the food and the best of the animal hides, controlling his group with demands. Unknowingly, the winds of change had begun to hollow across the land. Our leader would begin to face a whole new set of challenges, the likes of which he was not prepared for. The Ice Age was approaching. As the air began to pick up a slight chill and the leaves began to fall, the food was becoming more scarce. The leader of the clan realized he had no idea of how to preserve their food supply and keep them warm from the cold. Little did he and the rest of the clan know that the cold was not the only thing sweeping in to bring change. What is that noise coming from behind the boulder? Wait, it sounds like rocks clashing together. Hey, it's that low grunting cave dweller, Ugnug. A few more clicks bring forth a spark. A few more sparks, then, ah yes, could it be? He's been sitting there with that bush and those rocks for some time now. But he has done it. The bush burns nicely, and he feels warmer now. The rest of the group seems to notice and becomes more curious at this warmth coming from the odd light. They all huddle in closer. The clan is joyous over the marvelous thing that rids them of the icy chill in the air. They clap their brother on the back as if to say, "A job well done." It seems that frost and cold is not the only change this wind has brought indeed. Time marches on, and our emergent leader sees that this world is changing before him. He knew that warmth alone wouldn't keep them alive. Their current methods of hunting would not help them survive the winter. The animals seem to be adapting over the years. They are bigger, they are stronger, and they are smarter as the supplies are getting low. He knew that in order to survive, they would have to adapt also. How else would they survive? After some reflective thought, he had an idea. He quickly scrambled around, gathering various items to himself. The rest of the tribe watched him and had no idea what he was doing. Some of them thought he was crazy, though some of them had faith. He had begun to prove himself with the discovery of fire, so they thought best to watch and give him a chance. The tribe could nearly see the gears turning in his brain. He worked night and day and night, trying to fashion something out of the materials he collected. They did not know what his idea was. He would not stop to tell anyone. He was too busy working. He tried twisting and turning rocks. He tried knocking them together and breaking them. Nothing was quite working the way he wanted, until eventually he cracked a rock in half, and then he had an epiphany. He looked at his broken rock and saw something more. He quickly grabbed another rock and began working against his broken one, and eventually he fashioned something rather sharp. He was on to something. He quickly grabbed some wood and vines and began working them all together until he had a spear. He held it up to his tribe, and he knew that he had something good. They did not know what this signified as of yet. They could not grasp what this thing could do. He demonstrated with grunts and motions and showed them that this could be used for hunting the larger, meaner animals. Having gained this new knowledge, Ugnug set out to use it during their next hunt. The designated leader has chosen not to follow these new developments from Ugnug and started developing a plan of his own. A few changes here and there couldn't hurt, he thought. His original hunting party was equipped with only one club for taking down the beasts. This time, he thought it would improve his chances by picking a few more strong men. Although not as strong as he, they looked like they could wield a club of considerable less size than his and achieve more success. The designated leader takes his hunting party out into the vast plains. As they are nearing a group of wild boar, a saber-toothed tiger sneaks up. The party is startled by the deafening roar of the big beast. The designated leader quickly motions for his party to scatter out to try to surround it. Yet this creature is too cunning for them. They swing their clubs, but it only makes the beast madder. Ugnug has finally caught up to the other hunting party and sees that they are in peril. He decides to use his new invention. Throwing the spear with all his might, he impales the saber-toothed tiger. Sometime later, our designated leader brought back one fine saber-toothed tiger. Ugnug's party returned with many animals. The spear was definitely better. They now had fire to keep them warm and a superior hunting weapon to hunt with for food and hides. Ugnug gathered a few members and started scratching at cave walls. Everyone looked up at the wall. They were unclear of what he wanted to convey. He motioned for his hunting party to come closer. He pointed to the picture on the wall, depicting men carrying the beast. He dragged his finger along the wall to the picture of the women, the children near the light. They quickly went to the bounty and hurried back to the women. Ugnug pointed at the women, and then back at the wall, for within all those scratches were instructions on how to skin the kill. The new sharp tools helped cut the meat cleanly, allowing for the food to be distributed evenly and for the hides to be stripped in such a way so nothing was wasted. The little ones now had proper wraps to keep them warm, and one of the women even made toys for the children to play with, and decorations for the walls out of the horns and bones. Our new leader continued to assemble the men and women into groups to complete different tasks. He gave them simple instructions and sent them off in teams to work out the details. They all had the pictures on the wall to guide them. There seems to be a true emergent leader in the making. Ugnug gained the admiration of the clan, not only for his works, but for his ability to see the value and skill of others around him. His strategies began to gain interest. Others would humbly approach him with new ideas. His influence grew as he listened and implemented some plans and discarded others, though he did not really discard them in the way we think. He noticed Aoya taking the time to reflect on the efforts that day and realized that there was another thinker who was even more meticulous in thought than he. One day, Ugnug was presented with an idea about the style of clothing the clan wore. The clansmen wanted a way to tell the men from the women, as they all wore the exact same hide. Ugnug presented it to Uaya. They both laughed a bit because it sounded a bit out of the norm. They grunted some more about the day's activities and decided to settle in for the night. As they went off to their own parts of the cave, Aoya froze as if Ice Age had taken him at once. He hurries to the nearest wall and scribbles furiously. He stands back and looks at his thoughts, then laughs terribly and scratches over it as if to use an eraser. He walks off into the night to get some rest for the next day.